So, Jack, by the time this is out, it's gonna be a while since the last episode.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And, a lot has happened in returns of the world of gaming and pop culture in general. But you know what?
What? That was a weird pause there you got there.
Well, I was waiting for you to. Anyways, but, so you know what? We're gonna, kinda ignore all that. But all the those popular ones that already cover that, we gotta make ourselves distinct. So, much like last episode, we're gonna focus on entirely one one type of subject for this episode, and that being, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the music edition of the HAC JAC show. And with and what is this regarding? Well, Jack and I, Hack, will be discussing our it's obviously the type of music that we love. We love how we came to love certain genres that we hate, certain artists that we love, and maybe whatever little factor uh we can put into this podcast. And of course, it's not just regards to just popular music in general. We will also be discussing music from gaming, music from film, such as scores, and so this conversation will take us where we want to. It's a pretty free flow. Gonna be a pretty free flow episode, which is not very different from our past ones. Regardless, this is what we're all about today. So strap in and listen. And we will not, unfortunately, not put some copyrighted music. So thank you, YouTube. With all that said, Jack, tell me. Actually, what? I want to know, Jack. Answer this question.
All right, ask me.
So I can know how your taste in music began. Was the first song you ever sang "Itsy Bitsy Spider" or "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star"?
Ooh, Okay, I think I remember this one. That would probably be "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" for me.
Great. So that means he was not raised a buffoon. Because if I remember correctly, I think "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" is a Mozart piece. I think.
What? No.
I want to say so. I could be wrong.
You could be a buffoon if you're saying this right now, and then you're wrong.
Hold up, I did something I actually need to fact check because I could have sworn that it was at least somewhat inspired and not just a nursery rhyme. So let me just do some wiki origins.
That's the way I like it.
I like it.
Stop it, YouTube.
It's fine. Okay. Huh. That's okay. Oh, wait.
Oh.
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 Okay, so this is straight from from Wikipedia. It says here, "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" is a popular English lullaby. The lyrics are from an early 19th century English poem by Jane Taylor. And to skip a sentence, it is sung to the tune of the French melody, and use my best French here. "Ah, vous dirigez maman," which was published in 1761 and later arranged by several composers, including Mozart. So while he did not make the composition, he certainly helped made it popular, and then words were added in about 100 years later.
Huh.
So I'm not really correct, but I wasn't really lying to you or giving you false information. So I'll take that victory. I'll take it.
Sure, you will.
I'll take any wins, man. Fighting games has taught me that. Just take any wins. But now it's actually a serious question. So when that actually started getting into m- into music more, where you actually listen to it as a pastime?
Okay, so you're asking me when, right?
When, and we can also add in how.
All right, so I would say really around middle school. I can't give you an actual age, but middle school around there.
All right then, and can you tell me who or what type of music is what pretty much got you into listening music more?
All right, so that's actually a tough one because there's a lot of things really that made me want to listen to music more. One of them was I know during that time I was watching baby YouTube when YouTube was actually like a baby, and then
2006.
yep, and for me I would really say from the YouTube area I was listening to. Of course, this was a meme back then. Never gonna give you up because it always appeared everywhere, and it kind of made me go like, "Oh, are you serious? Why are you making me listen to this too?" Hey, this is kind of catchy.
Does the root sandstorm also apply to that?
Yeah, a little bit, but surprisingly, back then I was not much of a electronic person.
Okay. So, wow, you definitely were born in the memes. If that was a song if that helped you get more into music.
But really, when it came to music, I think what got me into it was a lot of radio music at the time. Things like
Mm.
anything from Eminem during that time was pretty good for me. I like that.
Ooh, hear this edgy middle schooler over here, guys.
And later on, if you want to talk about Edge, then after that I like Green Day.
You know what? I like one song of theirs, so I'm not gonna make fun of that.
I
There
wanna
is
be
one
a
song of theirs I actually
Canadian
like.
idiot.
Actually, no, not that one. It's actually not that one.
Is it 21 Guns?
I forget the title, but I do know it was a Green Day song.
Holiday?
I think it's that one. It has that the guitar with where it goes that da na 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 na, that one.
That doesn't sound like anything I remember.
Whatever.
And I remember those songs. You know, I
Well,
just something I forgot about though.
what?
That Green Day had its own rock band edition. Remember that?
They did.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and weren't like the members like modeled into.
Yeah. And actually, I just remembered it right now. I forgot about that for years.
Yeah, and there was also wait, did Guitar Hero or Rock Band did a whole just little essentially add on for where it was just Metallica music. I forget which
That was
game
Guitar
did that.
Hero that had a Metallica edition.
Cause it was Rock Band, but you're probably right.
Then,
It's probably Guitar Hero.
then they also had Aerosmith.
That one I remember a lot. I do.
You gotta dream on. Dream on.
You gotta dream on while stuck in an elevator because this dude looks like a lady.
Oh my god. I just remembered something. I need to show you a video after this recording. Remind me after the recording. It's about Freddie from Queen. And the title of the YouTube video is Freddie playing in a slide but got stuck in it. Something along those lines.
Okay. Is this something similar to like Break Your Knees, where like like funny edits of a song?
Kinda, yeah.
All right, I'll remind you when the recording's over. All right, so a lot of radio stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As for me, uh, okay. So so I know I kind of agree with you on for Green Day, but that's fine. This one, okay. So you want to know what really got me to music? You
Nickelback?
want to really know?
Nickelback?
Oh, actually no. Actually no. Now I feel much better now. It wasn't
Okay.
Nickelback. No,
I would have really grilled you on that one.
no. It's it just shows you how dorky I was even for all these years. What really got me to pay attention to music more, or at least my starting, was Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay, that's almost as bad.
It's I like, but I'm talking about like the actual soundtrack, not just Live and Learn. I remember, I think it was a few nights when I had my original GameCube. I would literally go to the soundtrack section of the game
Hmm.
and just fall asleep listening to the music.
That is very dorky. That is very
Yeah,
dorky.
and and I did, and I love, and of course I continue on hearing the new with the new Sonic games, hearing the music. During that time, which was the middle school age, that I went so far as to even burn the music onto blank CDs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You pretty much hit, you very quickly hit that Sonic fandom age.
At Hey, at the very least, I grew out of it.
I'm surprised you didn't start drawing your own OC character and then made friends with
well,
Sonic with your OC character.
well, the good thing was that even though I was very into Sonic, I didn't share that interest with anybody, and I wasn't savvy enough on the internet, knowing about message boards or forums to even like chat about it online. I just kind of just stuck it to myself.
I got tech savvy because of my brother. He was the one that showed like he was pretty much his love of Final Fantasy pretty caused me to be able to use a computer because he kind of taught me how to use a computer.
All right, so we gotta establish kind of a good solid foundation. Jack,
Mm-hmm.
normal mainstream music. Hack, Sonic music. So we're both on weird. So I'm starting off with my left foot.
Hey,
Jack's on his
hey,
right.
hey! What's wrong with left?
Well, this was a political channel. I
Oh
can
my
tell
god,
you all
not.
about it. In any case, the jokes aside, okay, so that's just the origin. So that's kind of like that foundation. However, if it's the same with Jack, I know for me, but at a certain point, as you grow up, you hit the point where you really then start developing the taste for music. Because as much as I love Sonic music, and essentially the older Sonic music from the Genesis era,
Hmm.
in um, and I still listen to it because there's still good cheesy rock songs.
Yeah.
But it's not like with every Sonic game I'm like drooling over the new soundtrack. In fact, when Sonic Forces came out and they had their opening theme, I was like, oh, what is this garbage? I did not. I wasn't for it. So, but past middle school when and starting at the tail end of intermediate school, that was when I was really developing my taste, and all because, and I still to this day don't know how, but intermediate school, that was when I was introduced to a to to a probably um overused band, but hey, they're famous for a reason. But the Beatles. I was introduced to the Beatles in intermediate school, and now I was really developing my taste in music.
Hmm.
And for you, was there like a specific band or genre in which you got to really uh really like determine what you really like or not?
Yeah, I mean, really, the problem with me, if you're giving me that question, is that I generally have an all round. love for most music, anyways. And like I appreciate every type of music, and there's a lot of songs that I liked throughout transitioning between like rock to electronic to now recently like a mix of everything really. But if I want to pick a certain point that made me realize, hey, I like this genre a lot right now, would probably be electronic music, really. I mean, like the very start of it. Like what got me into electronic music was actually dubstep.
Did dubstep got big around like early 2010s or like the late 2000s?
Well, I'm not really sure, really, because dubstep itself never got big. It only had like two, I guess. I guess two songs that really had people go like, "What is this?" And the ones that I remember are Bangarang and Scary Monsters and Sprites, both of them by Skrillex.
Right, he was the one dubstars that got that mainstream attention.
Mm-hmm.
From And actually, fun fact, um, in one of Michael Jackson's later albums, he did produce a song that you could that it was, and I think it was in his uh, which al- which album was it? I'm trying to recall right now, but in the album, as I'm searching to see trying to remember what it was, he did essentially did like a very prototype version of dubstep.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Uh, and and at the very least, he had it. He had the song produced for his album. I don't know if he actually worked on it, but it's there. Oops, not that. There we go. All right, and the album in question. What is? Dixie. Invincible. There we go. Invincible. So his album from 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I definitely know that Skrillex didn't get popular till like maybe 2010, 2009 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so I know a reason why he's the king of pop, folks. He was making a genre he wasn't even trying to make. He was just kind of experimenting a little bit.
Oh, so
But let's say it was like a very proto version of it.
speaking of which, that reminds me of how early electronic music came out. So, and I'm speaking about not like 90s early. I'm talking about YouTube popularity early. So, what came out a lot in YouTube was, remember I showed you the song? You don't remember it at all? If I'm correct, it's called Dreamscape 009. That song always appeared in every single YouTube video because it was royalty free. Back then, no one knew how to make transitions. No one made any intros. I mean, we're certainly not making intros, really, like LEA style, but you get the point.
One day, maybe.
One day. We're not gonna do LEA, though. Like that. But, like, those were the songs that were constantly out next to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Oh, well, that song I do remember.
Yeah. That, and also, of course, The Rude Sandstorm was a big one. And if you ever somehow got into the anime videos or whatever they're called, AMVs? Yeah, AMVs.
Yep, AMVs. Good
Sometimes you'll have either
so
rap songs or trance music. Like trance music. Like original trance music.
You know what's an AMV I vividly remember?
Which one?
Okay, it wasn't from an actual anime, but it was for Batman the Animated Series,
Mm-hmm.
and all they did was they took like clips from this one specific episode from the later seasons when it was called The New Adventures of Batman and Robin,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an episode where Dick Grayson finally had enough of being Robin, and so it was his moments where he was going to where he literally punched Batman in the face, took off his mask, and he became Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
It was that episode, and pretty much the person did an AMV style of it, but the song he chose was "In the End" by Linkin Park.
Ah, that's the edgy 2000s right there.
hmm and I did see it. I admit I did see it more than a few times because it was like it's Batman. It was like Robin's punching Batman. Why? I didn't know the context of it so much later on. So I was more intrigued by like what was actually going on in the video than the actual music. The music was like there for me.
I had a very dumb moment that happened to me. It took me quite a while in my when I was very young to understand what was happening. So this was early YouTube also had this trend of something called nightcore.
Oh,
Do you know what nightcore is, right, Hack?
oh yeah. Yeah, but explain to the studio audience that we do not have.
All right. You three over there in the back. Let me explain it. So, nightcore pretty much is you get the music you have there, put it in whatever music developing or editing software you have. Raise the pitch up and the speed probably. There you go. That's nightcore. Back then.
So, yeah. Now it's probably like its own subgenre of music, right? At this point.
At this point, it's still the same premise, but they actually do add in different way of putting the beats, like the drums itself, maybe changing it up a little bit to be more clubby.
Pretty much to make it so like it sounds like an actual song instead of just a sped up song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
Sorry, but pretty much, I thought Nightcore, like the name Nightcore, was actually a person, and I was wondering like why are all these songs just the people like songs that I've heard of but sped up, and this guy is just like taking these songs and speeding them up. I didn't actually understand that was an actual genre that people were making. So yeah, that was my moment, my dumb moment.
Going back to me. So, like I said, I have no idea how, when, or where I heard the Beatles. And certainly it wasn't my family. My mother, my father, they're definitely not into any mainstream music unless it was from their time. So like the 80s and like early to mid 90s when they were still young. So and as well as we're Hispanic, a lot of cumbia and salsa music. Mariachi as well. I was about to say mariachi también. I was like, no, wait. Hold off there. So and while I did hear that as in its childhood, it never really stuck with me. But when I heard the Beatles for the very first time, that's to make a music pun. That struck a chord within me, and from there all the way to my sophomore year of high school, I was really digging into the Beatles, not just their music, but the history of the band, checking out their solo works after the band departed and all that. Which, by the way, as terms of my favorite Beatles, it goes George, Paul, Ringo, John. Sorry, I'm not a fan of John. So There you go. I love George though.
Paul is dead. Paul is dead.
Of course, you know that. So
I
it's a whole. I saw a whole quote unquote documentary on Netflix about that.
we
That was
actually
funny.
in my music appreciation class we actually had a whole lecture about that. The Paul is dead meme, I guess you
God
could
damn.
say now. Nowadays it's a meme.
No, it's not a meme. It's
Well, by
just a famous
definition, the meme.
conspiracy
Yeah,
theory.
but by definition, the meme is anything that got viral or popular.
I meant in the way how it's used currently. But yes, you're technically all right. Now, so and just to kind of because I could do a whole podcast.
Podcast. We can do a whole podcast of this.
Well, yes, clearly I very much can. But I could make a whole like videos talking about my love for the Beatles because I spend that much amount of time with them.
Mhm.
But for time's sakes, I'll tell you this, the audience, my favorite Beatle tracks. And funny enough, most of them are from George. So what are the odds? So number one, is no doubt about it. While my guitar gently weeps. Number two, Here Comes the Sun. Number three, Something. Don't worry, I had more than just George Harrison tracks. Number four would be would be what will be Helter Skelter. And number five, if I had to put it as my very top favorite Beatles tracks, the fifth one would be the fifth one will be Only a Northern Song, which is which which by the way, Jack, have you ever tried to listen to very experimental songs at all?
I heard one of their experimental songs, and that was pretty interesting.
I remember when I first heard Revolution Number 9.
I think that was the
Like
one.
literally, yeah, it's just number 9 repeated ad nauseum while different things happen in the background.
Yeah, it like going into my music appreciation class, and then our professor is just like, so we're gonna listen to this track, number 9, just like going over and over again, like, so music appreciation, huh? Wow, what a world.
Yeah. I'm willing to listen to it, but no way is a favorite of
It's
mine.
just like, and I always wondered how there are people back then that would call the Beatles hoodlums, or like pretty much delinquents or things like that. Like, look at those delinquents, number 9.
Well, they would call them delinquents like during like their like essentially their boy band years.
Yeah.
essentially. But as they got older, started doing more drugs. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, definitely.
They just got more zanier.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and as a honorable mention, Tomorrow Never Dies. I love the drums on Tomorrow Never Dies. I think that's one of Ringo's best drum riffs, or I guess I should call it drum riffs. Yeah, that he's ever done. And the best part, he just kind of made it on the spot. This very on point, but yet weirdly tying drum beat. Like you should have a listen to yourself. It's pretty interesting. Now, I'm gonna pause myself there. We're done with that. So now let's catch up all the way to today. I think so. We got our foundations with you with a lot of mainstream music, but then gain deeper into more electronic stuff. YouTube says you was a big part of it. Me with my Sonic and the Beatles. Now, how would you now then? Obviously, you say you like a bit of everything. So, what would you say would be either tracks or albums or artists that tend to listen more to than any other.
So definitely right now, I listen to a lot more Mystery Skulls. I've already recommended a few of their songs throughout the podcast. I try to avoid recommending too many songs from them because then it would just be a bunch of Mystery Skull stuff. Um, Definitely Studio Killers. I also recommended one of them, which one song from them, which is "Ode to the Bouncer."
Is that the one? Is that the funky one?
Yep,
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
a lot of the. If you notice, if you look through those two, you'll notice that I tend to like more of the funky ones.
Yeah, because Jack's got the funk.
And
He's got that funk.
there's another one which is the more, I guess, adult rated, which is Suicide Boys. That they're a rap group, which a lot of their songs are pretty depressing.
Which means they'll definitely get that Grammy.
Yep.
Nah, it's probably too much for for that type of
Oh yeah,
audience.
you heard some of them, right?
Yep, and I'm trying to forget.
Yeah, they're pretty graphic in their lyrics.
Yeah, which is funny. Which is funny. I guess when it comes to being like, we're gonna go that deep, I'd rather be it more done metaphorically with allegory than just straight up, telling you. But I think, but that really works more for rock than really rap.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. And then I would say Caravan Palace, which is an electro swing group.
that's the ones that had that famous music video with the animals at the strip
Oh
joint.
yeah, Lone Digger.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, that's a very. I feel like if steampunk was real, that would be the music of the
Oh,
people.
definitely. Oh, and one last one for anything else that's a little bit less of rock or rap. I mean, less electronic and rap would be probably. I listened to when it came to rock. I listened to a lot of AC/DC.
Don't you mean Essie Desi?
AC/DC, yes. Let's go with that.
Yes,
Or
Essie Desi.
Akadaka for them Australians.
Which also, I want to ask you about ACDC.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a fair criticism that all their songs sound the same?
Uh, Depends on what. Really, it depends on the, the album for me. Because there's a lot of songs that they have that do sound similar, I'm not gonna lie. And others that don't.
I remember, I recall, I remember I saw a video of a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of making fun of how, like, it's not that hard to sound and play like ACDC. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what he did?
What?
He, the comedian, he had a whole band set up behind
Mm-hmm.
him. And what he did, he essentially did an ACDC rendition
Mm-hmm.
of Hokey Pokey. And it was, and like the weird, you know what the best part is though,
What?
that the comedian, he was able to sing, sing as if it was like sung by ACDC themselves.
Oh, I see.
So he really sold it. So if he was able to achieve that, which I believe was Angus Young,
Mhm.
is he the main singer, or is he just the lead guitarist?
I honestly don't remember their names anymore because I stopped listening to their songs. I kind of transitioned from
regardless.
there to Guns N' Roses because of Slash.
So that was funny. Now, okay, now that's for me what currently I listen to. So me, I'm more, and Jack can Jack can approve this, that I'm more into definitely more into rock than any other genre.
Yep, definitely. You're technically more into power metal.
Yeah, yeah. Although I'll probably swing more into power metal, a heavy metal, and a little bit of hair metal.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I don't really dabble with any black metal
Or death
or
metal.
death metal, anything like
Or
that. I don't really dabble
metalcore.
into that. Oh, definitely not that. But as in terms of to give you that taste, how much I'm listening to now, because if I really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
my taste has gotten a lot heavier since high school, and and to and to and to give you an idea what I'm listening to now, let me just pull up. So uh let's see. I'm gonna use my Spotify here just to see like what was my most recent songs I've added in. All right, so all right, so at this moment I've been trying to get more into. I definitely listen to more of Black Sabbath, and but properly started from the beginning during the prime Ozzy years, because because I as right now the only full album of Black Sabbath I've listened to is Heaven and Hell, when Ronnie James Dio
Mm-hmm.
came into the band very briefly, and of course the title track of that album, I just love that song. I love that song to death, and I just think that just what imagery when you hear that song you can put in your head of that track is like god worthy, god worthy, and so but I'm trying to go back, and one of the songs I listened to that actually took me by surprise, Jack,
Mm-hmm.
was a song of theirs called After Forever. Was one of their, I believe it was their fourth album, called Master of Reality, and it was very and it's a it's a very honest very honest song. It's a very honest song, and quite ironic too,
Mm-hmm.
because their name is Black Sabbath in reference to, I believe, some sort of witch ritual, I believe. Very definitely something very pagan.
Mm-hmm.
And After Forever was a song that their bassist wrote, in which Ozzy is singing about, essentially, if I had to boil it down to a question, it'd be like this, Jack. It'd be like this, Jack. Jack, have you accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior?
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty much the song.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's the theme and what the song is about.
Well, I'll beat you on this one. I can beat you on this one. There's a song out there, and I showed you this. It's only 3 seconds long. One note. The full lyrics of the song is just die.
Oh no no you oh no no I think you misunderstand me. You misunderstand me. I'm not saying literally that's what the song is.
Oh.
I'm saying like that's the theme of the song.
Oh, okay.
And I just find it ironic that a band called Black Sabbath made a song that's like essentially as telling people accept Jesus Christ.
Well, hey, maybe they're I don't know, maybe they're repenting for something.
Either way, that's just kind of example of where I am in terms of listening to the music,
Mm-hmm.
of course, and I still got a lot to go through, but it's just what I listened recently. And actually, you know what? I don't want to drown this song forever, but the song itself, as far as the instrumentation,
Mm-hmm.
it's, if you did not know they were Black Sabbath, it's almost sounds, if number one, it sounds very upbeat, and you could mistake it for maybe some sort of probably some sort of alternative rock band from like a few years ago. Like the main guitar riff is very un-Black Sabbathy until the bass and Tony Iommi, the rhythm guitarist of the group, until he starts in, and then you get the Black
Mm-hmm.
Sabbath very heavy sound with the distortions and everything. But it starts off pretty like almost poppy, but definitely very light until it suddenly gets heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very interesting. And and last and to
Sorry.
oh, that was a weird whisper.
No, it was something that was happening in the house, and it's just like I'm here thinking to myself, I hope it doesn't pick up in the mic for both of them.
Okay. Well, I definitely heard your whisper. Well, regardless. Um. So yeah, I'm definitely into rock, and to name drop other bands I listen to. Dio, definitely. Sabaton, I recommended their newest album in a previous podcast. I definitely like listening to an another there's actually a Christian metal band called Striper, which to give you an idea, folks, don't let the Christian metal tag fool you. They're pre- they're good without having to be all preachy. So let that sink in.
It would have been nice to know,
Uh,
though, for me.
yeah.
It would have been nice to know.
And,
I'll never forget that, you know.
forget what?
The concert we went to.
Oh, yeah, that was severely
So,
disappointing.
just to give you a little bit of context, though.
I'll tell the story. I'll tell the story. All right, um, so this past so a few months ago, the band just mentioned Striper. They were coming to perform in our city, and I was very excited. I got my tickets early, and being that, well, I want to include that. I want to include that detail. It's not relevant. Well, is it? Actually, no. I'm out to include it. So in that so in so the relevant detail was an add in was that I brought in a few a few youngsters from my church to join me so that they can get a taste, so they can kind of get a taste of this music, before they can, well, just for them to experience it, because they're definitely the type of ones that are not gonna go out of their way to listen to metal music. and and for and as this concert was starting, you got the opening acts. It was starting off pretty well. The first band was pretty cool. Second band, Jack didn't really resonate with him, but I like him. It wasn't until then we hit to the third opening act that it went where they were just doing covers, which is fine. But then it started getting to the point that I was like, okay, is Striper gonna come on now? And unfortunately, this is probably a mistake on my end, but the youngsters that I brought in, they were getting tired, and probably, you know what, Jack, even if Striper did came on time, probably would have to take him home,
Yeah.
curfews and all that.
All right.
So that's probably my big mistake, but I wanted to get them something that they'll rarely experience.
So let me add
So
into that because remember, you left. I stayed for a little while.
yeah, so I left in the middle of this third opening act. So Jack can take it from here.
So I was there with at that time, my girlfriend, and we were listening to these guys, and it was kind of funny because, first of all, you forgot to mention the best part when this third act came in. They came in, and they're just like, "You ready to rock?" And then, "Mother freakers." Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's right.
Of course, we can't say the word because YouTube. But
Uh,
yeah, like with that, I noticed
I left
that
it.
Hack was right in front of me, and right in front of him were two girls, obviously not dressed for the occasion because they were dressed like as if they would go to church. Very innocent, very innocent, and
I remember.
they heard that, they left. They just left.
Oh, and I know what girls he's referring to. Oh, they're so innocent. So innocent and pure.
But anyways, now that Hack left, now I can tell you what happened. So we were already three songs in, already 3 songs in, and my favorite part, or they're like, "Are you ready to hear Stripers?" Yeah, everyone's like, "Yeah," and then they start playing again.
I think I remember that. I think I was hearing that right as I was leaving. I think I definitely remember experiencing that moment.
Like they start playing again, and I'm here just like, wait. I asked my girlfriend, wait, didn't they just say that if we're ready for Stripers, then how come they're playing again? So so I had no
Yeah.
idea what was happening because they just kept playing song after song. I was wanting to see Stripers just because I only knew one song from them. I wanted to see them play at least other songs from their album. I was already getting tired. I wanted to get something to drink, but obviously the lines were full. There was no real motivation for me to stay there anymore after that. So I'm just like, "Hey, you want to go? Yep, let's go."
It's a disappointment to this day. And if I had to guess what happened, it could. I I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet either some sort of technical issue was going on, and that's why they could come forward, or is it the fact that because the band, like the guys are getting there in age, that they're just kind of. And I think one of the members is like going through like very severe medical conditions that I guess it was just making sure they're really ready to perform. That's my guess. I don't really know the reason why, but at the very least, Jack, at least the tickets are free.
Yeah, the tickets were free. That was the good thing.
Yeah, so
Even though it
hey, at
was
least
also free to blow out my ears.
that's true. And at the very least, at least we got two cool opening acts. So
Yeah, and like here's the thing that I always had this problem, which was why do they have the guitar so loud to the point where you can't hear the singer? Like I'm fine with having a
oh
loud
yeah,
guitar. I play the electric guitar. I understand it. But when you drown out the singer, which is the main part of the song because they're the ones that are singing the actual lyrics, then there's a problem there.
oh yeah, and that was really bad. They definitely did not bass that out for that concert. Definitely did not.
They had a sound engineer
Regardless,
there too, so I'm not sure what was he doing. He was just like texting on his phone actually.
probably. Well, any case, so I actually, Jack, hope that doesn't deter you from listening to actually listen to our Striper. That like us, there's legit. They legit have a great album. So I hope it doesn't deter you. I wouldn't blame you if you lost interest, but I'm just saying. So, but to kind of move on now, because I spent a bit too much time to off that little funny story. Now, of course, I'm not 100% just rock. Do like to listen to other stuff, and and actually, when it comes to that, I'm actually kind of not kind of I'm a bit normal. I think
No, you're more
when
of
it
an old man.
I'm not an
You're an
old
old
man.
soul.
At least my back works properly.
We all agree. Our friends, your family members, everyone agrees you're just an old soul.
Whatever that means.
It means
In any
that
case,
you're an old man in a young body.
so I'm Joseph Joestar then. I know it's a reverse, but you get my meaning. But aside from diving deep into rock, as far as other genres, I really just kind of skim the surface, and I might find obscure stuff. Like for example, when it comes to rap, I'm not really big into it, and the only and a really period where I was kind of giving a legitimate try to get into it. Um, I just do know for sure that gangster rap, No, not my cup of tea. I do like probably like the really famous Biggie and Tupac and not NWA, but definitely Ice Cube, like one of the most famous songs that everyone listens to. So there's something special in regards to that. I definitely was. I was definitely as far as I know, I was definitely riding on that lo-fi hip hop train for a while.
Yep.
Until I started seeing it everywhere and a whole bunch of YouTubers use it.
Oh yeah. So we can now confirm this. Hack is a hipster.
I'm not. I'm not a hipster. I'm not.
Yes, this is kind of borderline hipster right there. You're just like,
No,
I like this.
okay.
I like this genre, but it got popular, so I don't like it anymore.
I never. Okay, first of all, I never said I'd stop liking lo-fi hip hop. I never said that. From my viewpoint, I did not know if people listened to it a lot, so it wasn't something I saw that was very common. After a while, it did. I started to see it in just people that were subscribed to, or just and honestly, and honestly, all it really was that made me listen to lo-fi hip hop was literally just like two artists, make that three. I'm sorry, make that three. Three, not really artists, producers. That being New Jabez, DJ Okawawi. Okawawi? I think that's Okari. Hold up, I guess I pronounced this right.
DJ
Because I listen to this person so many songs, I'll be hitting myself if I don't pronounce the name. DJ Okawati, and a little bit of another gentleman named. I actually need to look this one up because he uses his real name. And a gentleman named Kenichiro Nishihara. So yeah, all these are very Asian DJs and producers. And mostly I got into it because I watched Samurai Champloo. That's why I got into New Jabez. And with the help of Pandora, the internet radio thing, I was able to explore more of that genre of that Asian lo-fi hip hop. Eventually, kind of died down a bit, and I just really just stick to really kind of down a bit. Just kind of just re-listen to the same songs. They're pretty good music to be for me to kind of have like background noise to kind of study to, or for me to if I needed to rest, since they tend to be pretty they're not heavy, they're very groovy, had a lot of jazz influences. And by the way, I'm also a little bit into jazz, not very fully, but a little bit. And so that's really all my experience when it comes to rap. Other than those, maybe a few songs here and there. I'm not really big into it. But I think now this one, Jack,
Mm-hmm.
I think this one you and I are definitely big on, and that would be video game music. I want to transition to talking about video game music. So now, uh, off the top of your head, can you name me a video game composer? Go.
Martin O'Donnell.
Martin O'Donnell.
Halo.
My mind was definitely okay. Good. I was thinking the right track.
You were about to say
I don't
Destiny.
know. No. I was about to say Undertale.
Oh, that's Toby Fox.
You're right. I forgot it was kind of made by one guy. Okay, so yeah, Martin O'Donnell. For me, off the top of my head, Akira Yamaoka, who is basically he is the physical embodiment of the sound of Silent Hill. He can make other music for other games. Son, he is Silent Hill as far as I'm concerned.
He is Silent Hill.
Like, hey, and think about this: the few games that didn't have his music are considered mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
So that's so. But obviously we know others. Now, in terms of Mr. Aldano over here, now, with terms of Aldano here, have you listened to anything else besides his Halo, his stuff he did for Halo, or you just really like what he did for Halo?
That and also some of the music he did for Destiny before he left.
Oh, he did Destiny?
Yeah, he did some Destiny, but he left after that.
I wouldn't blame him. Is there any specific track from the Halo games that come to mind where you're like, if I were to say to you, best track he's ever composed, you know exactly where to point to?
It would probably be Halo 2's theme specifically. So the Mjolnir mix.
Where they incorporate the electric guitar.
Pretty much, because if you've ever seen the behind the scenes for that, basically the guitarist, he's there listening to the song, and they pretty much tell him to do whatever he feels like, or feel the music. Most of the riffs he does, like 90% of them, stayed in the song.
Yeah, I know the video he's talking about. I saw it too. I was like amazed. Like, wait, all of that cool guitar, cool riffs that Daisy did was like on the first try.
Yeah,
you know you're talented when like 90% of what you did on the first recording made it into the final edit.
exactly, and that's what amazed me throughout the whole thing.
When it comes to Yamaoka, for me, the track that I would point to, besides the title theme of Silent Hill, it would have to be it would be a song from the very first game.
Mm-hmm.
The track is called My Heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of those things, one of those tracks where you can't really even call it a song. It doesn't have a proper
It's ambient.
Beat to it, but it's definitely not ambience.
No?
No, it's weird. Like, there's a rhythm to it, but it's not a set beat, and it's definitely not just something that's atmospheric or some sort of things that put you in a trance, because you get all these like repeating things hitting like metal sheets, kind of rusty sounds going through, but it's done in a pattern, but nothing that can be like, you can musically notate it, but it wouldn't be very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then you have all these like kind of screeching howls, as if like scratching on a chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
That comes in. That it's actually not that piercing. It's not that piercing. And when it's used in the game itself, especially with the kind of old rusty industrial setting that the first game had, it's just like it's if Madness was a piece of music, My Heaven, that would be the soundtrack. And so that's my favorite track from Mr. Yamaoka.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other composers that come to mind which are like, I like this song from him, I like this song from her?
I don't remember his name because it was kind of hard to pronounce for me. But this is actually a very recent one for me, which is the man who composed the soundtrack for A Hat in Time. A lot of the songs in A Hat in Time were very memorable to me, especially the time rift music. Because like, all right, so what made me feel a little bit nostalgic from the time rift music in The Hat in Time was really the way he made the bells sound like, because they sounded like bells or chimes. The way they sounded like remind me of how when you first enter the what was it called, the telescope area in Majora's Mask.
The observatory.
you know how when you enter the observatory, you just have like this mystical wonder type of music going on with the bells and
Oh yeah.
the and how it sounds like. That's how it sounded like for me. Of course, it was a bit calmer in the
Oh yeah,
time rift,
definitely.
but it just kind of reminded me of the observatory from Majora's Mask with the instrumentation and kind of giving you this sense of like wonder. And ever since then, I started like really listening in to all the soundtracks inside the Hat in Time, and a lot of them I found pretty good.
Oh, and also, wanted to look up for you, but the composer for Hat in Time,
Mm-hmm.
his name is, and I'll try to pronounce this correctly, Pascal Michael Stifel.
Yeah, that was the name.
He literally has like ends in. Wow, that's well. His name literally rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't he lucky? So, uh, and if it's for another highlight for me would have to be. Actually, this is gonna be another one of my other exceptions when it comes to hip hop music,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the the uh, the vocal set of the vocal tracks on the video game Anarchy Reigns. Do you remember that game at all?
Nope, never even heard of it.
Okay, I figured it didn't do that well when it came out. It came out in the last gen, I believe in 2012 maybe, I think. It definitely came out for PS3 360. It was it was supposed to be this arena fighting game by Platinum,
Mm-hmm.
in which they had like some of like their own characters that they made, such as I believe Jack from Mad World and Bayonetta,
Mm-hmm.
as long with some original characters,
Mm-hmm.
where you're in this full 3D arena and you fight it out, almost kind of like kind of like Power Stone, except more violent and a lot more QTEs.
Mm-hmm.
And this just ends in the same game in this, and it had a very um, heavy hip hop soundtrack, and to this day, and to this day, I still listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a lot of bunch of artists on the track themselves, and and the and the and the highlight song for me would have to be the title track,
Mm-hmm.
but called here here we go by Theory Has It, where it kind of has that kind of club beat going on,
Mm-hmm.
but the way how Has It does the rapping and everyone in the songs, they kind of buy into the whole like this very brutal and violent game, that you pretty much hear like everyone kind of sound like very sadistically loving all the things they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
like at one of the tracks in in on the lyrics, I'm sorry, in the song I'm referring to, one of the lyrics goes, this ain't and always remember it, this ain't no dance battle, this here is um can't just to appease YouTube, see if you can catch this ain't no dance battle, this is uh when you pretty much how you yeet yourself, you Minecraft yourself. if you step if you step into the ring, know one thing. I think you say this part. If you step to the ring, know one thing, you will die. And he said with such conviction and with such like he's like pointed directly towards you. You're like, am I gonna die playing this game? And funny enough, and of course, and that goes to all the rap songs. And funny enough, and I ended up going deeper into that particular artist. Theory Has It.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've been listening to a lot of his own work. He's kind of inconsistent when he releases tracks,
Mm-hmm.
but I like his sound. Although I don't, although he's been making a kind of change in the way he does his music.
Mm-hmm.
he did a lot of sampling in his early work, were of a lot of popular using a lot of popular uh either jazz music or disco scores. It's a lot of 70s, early 80s type of music,
Mm-hmm.
and of course putting that hip hop mix into them. But lately, he's been following the current trends of those kind of like those like lot of hi hats,
Mm-hmm.
in which I'm not a big fan of, but at least he puts his own spin on it. That I'm like, yeah, it's bearable. So. So that game is just I never played the game, unfortunately. I don't think I ever will, but at least it's a fun soundtrack. So there's that. There's that about the game.
Well, hey, if it has a good soundtrack, well, it's on the right track.
Ha ha
Ah,
ha
ha,
ha
ah,
ha
ha,
ha ha
ah,
ha. Why don't you step into my ring and see who will die?
ha.
Wait, oh, speaking of rings, I just finally messing with Terry and Smash. Ooh boy, ooh boy, love it. All right,
Power wave, power wave.
power dunk, power dunk. All right, and we'll do one more. We'll do one more game example to tie it off at 3. So any other composer or track of a game that is also you consider like top tier for you?
I would say, really, okay. This is gonna be a little bit interesting, but it is for the game, but it's more of a remix or like made differently. So it's for Undertale. Originally, of course, everyone knows the music was produced by Toby Fox, or most of it, except for one song. That was pretty much like a remake. But anyways, it was for Undyne's genocide route. Her theme is a little bit different on that one. Uh, this was made by a YouTuber. Right now the name escapes me. Let me actually look it up while I'm doing this. But while I'm explaining this, I'm gonna look up the name. But the way this guy made the Undyne remix is that he pretty much took Final Fantasy, like the Game Boy Advance Final Fantasy. Oh, sorry. Game Boy Advance Final Fantasy music, and then recreated it to make it recreated the song to make it sound like I said it was a part of Final Fantasy itself. So right now I'm still looking for it because for some reason it's not popping up. Hopefully it didn't get taken down. Oh wait, no, I forgot. I misspelled Undyne. That's why. Ah, there it is.
They just
It's by a guy named Dracula 9 Anti-Chapel.
Dracula.
So pretty much it's Undertale Battle Against the True Hero, Final Fantasy VI Arrange. So he uses the Final Fantasy VI instrumentation to make the track, and most of the tracks he's made were the Undertale songs, just with a Final Fantasy twist to it. So that's the one I would probably say.
Cool. And you know what? I just think, you know what? You know what could be a fun video?
What?
I think I remember asking you this. I didn't ask this, but how familiar are you with like music from like during the 16 and 8-bit era?
Not really.
Oh, because that would be real fun if I get to pretty much do like kind of like those a big cliche video of you pretty much, hey Jack, can you guess what this song is? And you're like, I don't know. Is it this? Actually, no, thinking about it, you probably wouldn't make it fun. You wouldn't be overreacting. You'd be like, yeah, no, I don't know. So,
Yeah, pretty much.
well, it was a fun idea. Well, it lasted a good 30
It
seconds.
lasted a good 30 seconds. But if you, I sent you the link to it. And
Yeah, yeah, you'll ver.
but pretty much see that whenever you can. But pretty much, if you notice, he also does this. He changes the sprites. I'm not sure if he has help with the sprites, but yeah, pretty much those were the songs that kind of made me think, huh, they would be pretty cool as Final Fantasy bosses.
All right, now for my last game track that that I'm big into, and you can actually join in this one, Jack, because this is one that you can chime in.
All right.
This is one of my. So I did mention that yes, I did listen to a lot of Sonic music where I was growing up. However, whenever I would make my trips to Puerto Rico to visit my dad's side of the family, there was my dad and I would play Shenmue 2 a lot in that game, and we played it a lot. And I'm so glad that I was able to play it where as a kid, so I got to absorb it more. And and to this day, I still remember tracks from Shenmue 2 and eventually the original Shenmue when I really got to listen to its soundtrack. To me, those two games and I pray the third one that lives up to it have to me the most beautiful soundtracks of any game I've ever heard. When it's in terms of their the instruments they use, how it's composed, and as well how much they kind of elevate scenes when they're used.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very beautiful music. And and one and one and when it comes to Shenmue 2, man, there's a tons of tracks and I just like all I have to do is just think about the image and the song just appears in front of my head. I remember I remember this music when you're in Aberdeen. I remember this music when you're in Kowloon. I believe it's the nighttime music, and I also recall the music the final battle track. That one was pretty epic. With what was that Fatso's name again?
Oh, I forgot about that guy's name. I forgot most of the characters' names from 2. It's been a while since I played it. But
You didn't forget Joy, have
of
you?
course not.
There's my man.
But
No one forgets
no one
Joy.
forgets Joy. But seriously, that game had, you know, I just kind of I'm more amazed that both of us somehow appreciated that game at such a young age.
I know, right?
Because like
And
like you gotta admit, okay, the 2 games I played a lot were Halo 1 or Halo Combat Evolved and Shenmue 2.
and and the game that I played a lot when my family used to have an Xbox was Jet Set Radio Future, which is another great soundtrack by the way, and Shenmue 2. Funnily enough, both Sega games. Huh, what are the odds?
Left, left, left.
Actually,
Right, right, right. What are you doing? You gotta be more careful.
right, left, right. Twink, twink, twink. Nah. Those sounds, man. You know what? Actually, unrelated. Um, I'm actually planning to do Jack. Because since Shenmue 3 is like figuratively around the corner
Mm-hmm.
from release, during my off days and my free time, I'm just gonna try to finish 1 and 2 as quickly as I can. Like I know the story, but I wanna, be like, all right, I beat those 2 games. It's fresh in my mind. Let's go into 3.
By the way, right now, HAC, he has 4 copies in total of Shenmue.
Oh, oh. Actually, is it 4? So let's see. I have the original Dreamcast version, which was a present to my dad. I literally got out to get a Dreamcast controller, a UMD, and making sure I had all 3 discs of the original Shenmue. So I have Shenmue in its original format with its original console. I have the HD release on PS4, and Jack recently gifted me the PC port of the HD version. So I have actually three copies.
So yeah,
Three copies of the original and two copies of Shenmue 2.
and of course, just to give you some, if you're ever gonna travel with the laptop, please make sure you bring yourself a controller because that game, of course, has never been. It's not good at all with the mouse.
I can imagine.
Because I didn't even try using the mouse. I knew from the start that it was going to be bad with the mouse, so I just went ahead and got my controller, plugged it in, and played.
Oh, man.
Would you like to play a game of
By
Lucky
the-
Hit, though?
Do you want to play a game of Lucky Hit? How about a game of Lucky Hit?
The rules are... I already know the rules. Okay.
Was it ever a person that actually had to hear the rules?
Oh, I had plenty of them.
Okay. And I still remember like the opening, the opening lines when you in the arm wrestling in the very beginning of Shenmue 2. He goes, "Here's our contestant, a samurai boy from Japan, Ryo Hazuki. Yeah. And now, a wrestler from Mexico who stains the mat with his opponent's blood. Something Garcia. Forget what his first name. And then of course, come on, amigo.
You did it spot on.
I know.
No, my favorite one was fighting. You're still in Hong Kong, by the way, on this one. Fighting the big, pretty much Tarzan of a gorilla of a man.
Oh, I remember that street fight.
I finally was
remember
able
him.
to. Pretty much when I cheesed him, I used the same move over and over again because it was stupidly powerful. And eventually I beat him like completely beaten him. Best line he said. Like pretty much he was willing to just throw his daughter at you.
Oh, that's right. He says, would you like to... No, I think it was his sister. It was a sister, not his daughter. I think it was
Whichever
his
one,
sister.
it's the same thing anyways.
He's like, would you have the honors of marrying his sister? No, thank you. Ryo being the polite Japanese schoolboy he is. God, there's so much dialogue from that game that I just vividly remember. Anyways, you think we should make a Shenmue episode just dedicated to Shenmue?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So getting back on track to music. So, yes, that will be my So those two games will be right up there in terms of music for me. Just very, very beautiful compositions, and that was actually the first time as a young kid where I really got to hear of the very Asian sounding music, in the sense of they use I'm assuming, because it definitely doesn't sound like they use any synthesizers for most of their tracks, where they actually had traditional Chinese instruments. And so that was the very first time I heard anything like that, and from there it kind of helped me at a good period of for a good moment get me more used to listening to music that doesn't need lyrics. Because would you say it's harder for most common people to just listen to music that doesn't have any lyrics?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I had one time. This was when I was listening to a lot of it. I still listen to electronic, but this is when I was starting off. And this is when electronic music wasn't commonly put with vocals. As nowadays it is. It's very common to put vocals in electronic music, but back then it wasn't that much. I remember I let someone else listen, we were sharing headphones, and he's like, "So when do they start singing?" So I'm like, "This is the music." Like, what do you mean? Like, that's it. This is it. Like, doesn't it get boring? Like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. So adding in words that repeat verse by verse, chorus by chorus is not repetitive either. But yeah,
I think the closest I have to that sort of interaction, well, I think it was when my parents heard me listening to like actually like putting on like scores from games and some movies, and that's when like I think that's where like they started to realize, oh, okay, so this is what you like. But actually, it reminded me of a little small thing, not even a story. A little small thing that happened and during high school was in my sophomore chemistry class. I would sometimes talk to this other student who I wasn't really friends with, but it was entertaining to talk to kind of pass the time. And I think one point he asked me what kind of music I like, what I was listening to, because I think I have my headphones on, and it was actually I was listening to George Harrison's first album, All Things Must Pass, and I was listening to a track of it, and I actually had him hear it, and to give me an idea, Jack, of the album, as is very much still has kind of that Beatles sound to it, just the way, but with a lot of George's type of lyrics and a lot of the way he likes to play guitar. And so it's very much music of that time, but I think it's still nice to listen to. And he listened to it, and surprisingly, he wasn't like put off by it. And at first, I thought he was just trying to be nice, like, "Oh, that's interesting." I was like, "Okay, you're not." I thought like, "Okay, you're not really interested." So I thought that first. Cut to senior year. I never in new classes with the guy anymore, and he catches me in the hallway, and he says, and he shows me what he's been listening to, and guess what it was?
The Beatles.
No, it was the album that I just talked about. With All Things Must Pass. That exact album. And I think to myself, did I just hope someone like get a new taste of music?
Probably.
By accident?
Yeah, probably.
And I was like, to me it was like the very first time where someone wasn't weirded out by what I listened to, and they actually went out to listen to it themselves. Oh man. That was a pretty neat memory. Hopefully he still listen to it, because it would be weird. It would be very weird just to stop me in the hallway and pretend to do that. There's no way he would fake it. There's no reason to. So I'd say it was very genuine.
Unless you got an admirer.
No, it's definitely not that.
Hey,
it's definitely wasn't.
You would
that.
be surprised. I thought the same thing until at that time in my chemistry class, a gay kid literally came on to me in front of the others, in front of our both of our lab partners, and everyone just was like, "This is getting weird," and I'm just like, no, thank you.
We'll look at you. Well, let me know. I'll let you know if I've ever encountered that. I'll be laughing. Oh my god, you were so cute in high school, but you were so quiet and shy. I bet I will hear that if that situation ever comes. Like, yes, I was. Yes, and you're lucky. You don't want to date me in high school.
Yeah,
don't. Trust.
He was a weird.
Trust
he was
me.
a weirdo that posed weirdly. For me, he posed weirdly.
At least I did a Naruto run. At least I did not Naruto run.
He Rasengan everywhere with his Naruto jutsu.
Lies, slander, slander! I say.
Stop being such a whistleblower right there.
So now, from here. Actually, I got two other questions in mind, but one I actually want to ask you, Jack. Do you listen to like soundtracks from movies like at all?
Not really. Nope.
No. So and well, and I'm guessing you would only know like the really really popular ones,
Yeah, I mean,
like Star Wars or Jaws, the Avengers theme, stuff like that.
those are pretty iconic and stuff. But anything like, if it's not like if you're talking about like an actual song dedicated for the movie and it's only for the movie and not something like where they say, "Hey, let's just put this Linkin Park song at the very end as a credit song."
Someone watched Transformers recently.
Yep. What
You,
I've done.
I think I could misremember this. Do you remember the song "The Touch"?
The Touch?
The Touch.
No.
It was one that goes, "You got the touch,
Oh yeah,
you
that
got
one,
the
yeah.
power." Yeah, that one. So that's very associated with Transformers. And when when the first few movies were coming out, there was a plan to like re-record the song with the original artist and put in the movies. It never happened. Apparently, there was one recording of it was like that was like so bad. Or like, no, we're not putting this out into public.
Oh damn.
And I believe there was a possibility that Linkin Park could have covered that song.
Oh god, no.
I know.
God save us, everyone.
I'm at like, can you imagine like Mike Shinoda, and the rest of the Linkin Park guys singing "The Touch."
I don't want Mike Shotokan right there doing that.
I can hear the rap verse now. I can hear it. But it's a little fun. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what happened. But luckily, I think they just feel like, you know what, they never use a song for the movies, and good. That song is too good for those movies. I see.
Mm-hmm.
As cheesy as it is. Okay, because I'm definitely more. So back to the original point, I was definitely more into film score, and to pretty much kind of list out some of the songs of not songs but soundtracks of films that I love.
Mm-hmm.
The original Star Wars. I mean, do I have to explain?
Not really.
No, it's Star Wars, man, and from that entire trilogy, just Williams' best work.
You underestimate my powers.
Not that. I mean, there's cool stuff in that part of the series too, but I meant the original. It's over, Jack. I have the high ground.
It's over, Hack. You have the low ground. In the alternate universe, that's the saying. Instead of you, I have the high ground.
Yes, indeed, an alternate universe. Oh, and as well, I also love the soundtracks to the first two John Wick movies. I find them pretty cool. I have not yet seen the third one. I already got to get into that. I actually heard kind of mixed stuff about that third movie, which I was kind of disappointed at. But I'll judge for myself when I see it. Now I think, let's see. So we covered like regular music, covered game tracks. I briefly started this up with movies. I'm going to only give those two examples. I think in terms of other music, actually, something to share with the audience, and Jack briefly mentioned, but we also are a bit of very, very amateur musicians as well.
Mediocre.
At least I consider myself a very, very
Not
amateur musician.
Mediocre.
Oh, come on now.
What do you mean? That's actually better. Amateur means like we're barely starting off in a sense. Mediocre means we're...
I thought that just meant that you don't make money off your music.
No. Mediocre means below average.
Okay, then we're a bunch of mediocre guitar players.
There you go.
I'm searching the more mediocre of between us. I'm willing to admit that. And And I guess I guess we can dive deep into that before we officially close. Can you kind of share your story of how you got into playing guitar?
It all started when I was young. But no, so pretty much I actually had a love for drums because little kids like to bang on things. Then from there, ever since Guitar Hero, I would say that will be like a big influence, especially after hearing the songs like Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. Seeing Slash, it made me really like the electric guitar. So that's when I started transitioning to more like playing guitar. Plus, when I was little, my dad actually had an actual guitar. He never knew how to play it. He just let me strum it, and pretty much made sound, and that's about it. But my first ever guitar, my dad bought it cheap from some garage sale.
Like all great stories start.
This was not a great story. He bought it cheap, like super cheap. Reason why was because apparently the guy that previously owned that guitar decided to leave his acoustic guitar in the garage in Texas weather.
Oh.
So the acoustic guitar pretty much split open. Yeah, it split open like how you crush a banana from just inside the peel. So my dad
Oh.
glued it up, like he magically glued it back up. Went to my first ever teacher. He tried to tune the guitar. Turned out the tuning heads were broken completely beyond repair. So I got myself my actual first ever guitar, which is a Squier. As a Fender Squier. I still have it to this day. Now I also have a problem by collecting too many guitars. I kind of have that
It's
problem.
it's a good problem to have because at the very least you have extra.
Yep. But I still don't have an extra electric guitar, which I probably should buy one soon.
Probably. No, probably. It'll help you give you a different sounds.
Yeah,
I
getting
think.
that wood tone.
Yeah, on an electric guitar, exactly.
Hey, people actually talk about wood tone on electric guitars. I still don't believe in the whole crap about wood tone. But there are
But it's a thing.
now that I said that, I'm gonna have my first ever dislike. I bet you. If someone listens
Well, let's see.
and they're a guitar player, they're gonna tell me that wood tone is actually a thing. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it's bullcrap. There's
Well,
my first ever dislike.
well, if I can get mine, you better get yours, man. I can't be the most disliked host of the Hack Jack show.
Yeah, your one dislike makes you the most hated host.
Hey, man. I mean, am I wrong?
But you're also the most liked, I think. Yeah.
That's only because I have a lot of we have a. That's because I've just been posting videos, so I'm not gonna count that.
But pretty
In any
much,
case,
yeah, that's how I started off with a very brief summary of it all.
all right. My story. When now, unfortunately, I'm not even up to par to Jack's level, and they were planning to be. Not right now. Kind of comfort. I'm comfortable where I am. Obviously, there's a lot of things I could improve upon.
That's not a good
But
thing to be comfortable in. It's
hmm?
not a good thing to be comfortable in where you're at. Oh, if you're
Well,
comfortable, that means you're doing something wrong. At least that's what I've been told.
Well, that's only in terms of if I really really want to go, really want to improve on my guitar
I want to see
capabilities.
you do a flamenco strumming with all the bells and whistles with it.
Yeah, and I want to see you do Thunderstruck by just tapping.
I can do
But
that.
we'll be, and what
I
was
can
it?
do that.
I changed my selection then. I want to see I don't know crap, I'm trying to think.
Because
Um
you gotta understand, there are some songs when it comes to electric guitars that sound hard, but they're really not.
they aren't yeah, they're really not. Oh, okay, I got it. I got it. Um the Okay, how about this? An improvised solo for While My Guitar Gently Weeps. There we go.
I mean, as long as I know what key it is, I could probably do something. You said
But
improvised. It doesn't.
and you have to incorporate uh you have to incorporate a slide.
That's not that hard. I mean, like,
And at the end you have to throw your guitar out like Prince.
okay, I don't want to throw my guitar.
I know, none of us
But
can reach that level.
uh, like again, you need to be more specific because when you say a solo, I can literally make it go, buh, 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 like just slowly. If you want me to do a
A
fast solo, then that's impossible for
an
me.
appropriate solo using the guitar techniques within the track while my guitar gently weeps during its solo during the solo part of the song. Is that good for
I'll
you?
just play Careless Whisper while it's playing.
Oh, that's a niño. Anyways, talking about my origins, God dang. Nothing is actually nothing spectacular for me. My family, on my mom's side, um, we're pretty much we were my mom and my uncle and aunt and well my mom and my uncles, and I don't have any aunts on my mom's side, but we definitely grew. They grew around music due to the fact that my my grandfather, he was actually a professional musician. He was a bassist for a some sort of for a cumbia band during the I want to say the 70s. And because of that, both my uncles and my mom, they just grew around music a lot and seeing my grandpa play. Eventually that grew to both my uncles, like when they were very young, trying to be in bands, playing with their friends, my mom singing, that she still does to this day, and my oldest uncle, him having his actually own recording studio in his own home. Um, so I grew up around that, and thankfully through my years in school, when I was in band, I learned how to read music notation and everything that comes with it up to a high school level. Nothing advanced above that, but I know how to do that. So I'll play the saxophone, and when it comes to guitar, that actually took me a while to really get motivated to play. I did learn from a secondhand guitar to learn how to play. I was very impatient as a kid, and in my mind, I kind of didn't see the point of it because I wasn't that into music at that time.
Mm.
It wasn't until much similar to Jack when a certain video game came out in which I wanted to really learn to play guitar. In my case, it was the Beatles rock band, and that was like the catalyst for me wanting to take my guitar playing seriously. And so I had another teacher who who I remember giving my basic learnings of the guitar and how to play. And then from there, I gave it and I continued to play, trying to learn. And it wasn't until my mother essentially put me did a trial by flames moment to me, in which I was gonna be the new guitarist for my church. And so when I was thrusted into that, I learned very quickly to learn how to play guitar, with other people and very musically and rhythm and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I had to describe so pretty much I am a mediocre rhythm guitarist. And 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 as far as my skills up to now, if you need me for your worship band, I'm your guy. Anything other than that, call Jack. I think you might be more
Just
interested.
don't try to get him. Don't try to ask him for any mute rhythms. Apparently, because the man doesn't wanna.
Like I said, I was not a fast learner.
Because the man
It took me a
himself
while.
doesn't wanna practice mute rhythms.
I did practice. I did practice. I just didn't practice enough.
Not my tempo.
All right, Simmons. And so and oh, I did, however, I did recall a little side story in regards to my music skills. I was I did a little thing for for last year's Christmas service for my church, and I wanted to do something different, and so I decided to kind of dabble in the GarageBand on my Mac, and it was pretty simple. All I really did was transcribe a the what was the song? It was what was it? I can look at it right now. Give me a moment. Give me a moment to see the song. Ooh, I have so many windows open. It was okay. It was "Oh Holy Night," and I pretty much found a piano music sheet of it. I transcribed it to GarageBand, and pretty much just started experimenting with the different instruments that you can mimic. And eventually, I was able to do a performance where I had that track using a digital uh, strings and tuba, and I'll play along with my saxophone with the song, and it actually turned out pretty well. Apparently, I think I made one person a little teary eyed, which I was actually kind of surprised. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that type of reaction to, admittedly, like the first time using the software, but and then I did a little side project. I never told you this, Jack, but I have entire book of the Legend of Zelda. What was that? Like, that concert series. You know what I'm referring
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
I actually have entire songbook of the entire concert that I got when I
Mm-hmm.
went. I got it, and so it has all the music that's put into notation, and I've been trying to do was put all of that into GarageBand, so I have my little own orchestra playing going on. I gotta pause on that project 'cause I think I hit a bump.
I could have sworn
It's not. It's not.
I thought you were about to say that you were gonna be the next SoundCloud rapper or something.
Oh God, no! I have more dignity than that.
Check out my
But
SoundCloud.
yep. My check out my SoundCloud. I'm Little Dicky
I
69.
am the spiritual miracle individual lyrical. If anyone knows where that's from, kudos to you.
So yeah, so that's pretty much all I gotta say in regards to my musicianship. If you wanna, I don't know. Other than that, yeah, nothing remarkable. But I can play guitar. That's all I can say about that.
And I can
And,
now, because usually I wasn't improving until I got into his worship band. Now I can actually do some type of improvisation when it comes to solos. Of course, not that great,
and
but hey, it's a start.
yeah, you gotta start somewhere. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that's all we can. That's I believe it's time to come to bring the show to an end. I will say, and as far the for his music recommendations, honestly, from what we all this entire podcast was about, I encourage everyone to all the tracks, all of the music referred to from games, from specific artists, to check them all out. Just to check them all out that we mentioned in the podcast. We have something for everyone. A little bit of rock, a little bit of rap, little bit of funky techno, and then just good old soundtrack music. So that will be the music recommendation for this week. This entire podcast is essentially one giant music recommendation
Killing two birds
with
with one
backstory.
stone.
Exactly. So with that, I'll move on to Jack. Is there anything significant you're gonna be playing? You're gonna be watching. You're gonna be doing. You're gonna be reading till the next recording of the Hack Jack Show.
All right, so it's been I didn't have time these 2 weeks to do anything with the project I was gonna try to do for our channel. So I'm gonna try to start on that script for the game review this week, and then hopefully finish it by the end of next week, or like this upcoming week, and then hopefully by the end of the next week. So in 2 weeks, hopefully I will be finished with the script.
I hope so. I hope so too. And as far as stuff on my end, in regards to the channel, I'm still going to do comic reviews up. By the time this is out, hopefully, most likely, at the beginning of the new week, I would already had another comic review out of X-Men #2 by Jonathan Hickman, and I encourage everyone to watch the past reviews I've done, especially for this week. I done one on Detective Comics 1015, which severely disappointed in, and oh my gosh, it was also a bit cringy. Catwoman number 17, and as well, my double review of New Mutants #1 and X Force #1. Encourage everyone to check those out. And lastly, I just want to mention that I'm actually in the midst of all this. I'm gonna also want to try doing a Ghost in the Shell related video of a topic that kind of I find interesting, and hopefully other fans of the series and just anime in general find interesting, in regards to the characterization of the main character, Major Makoto Kusanagi, and how much all the years of that franchise existence, how as far as I've known, there's never been a true adaptation of that manga, as far as I know,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in regards to her character. If you ever read the manga, you see how very much the Major is compared to her anime adaptations, and certainly her live action one. So that's something that I'm gonna be working quietly on. I just want to mention this. Hopefully, I get enough substantial stuff that I can make a proper video about it. They can make it into parts, but we'll see. With all that said, I thank everyone for watching this podcast episode 19, and as well, as well, if you like this video, give it a like, comment on the channel your some of the stuff, your favorite artists, your favorite tracks, your favorite genres of music, just music in general. Comment down below. We would love to hear some activity in our comment section, and as well, ring the bell to be notified when you're subscribed to the channel of new uploads. And I do try to upload on the daily to keep the channel going. And with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hack sign off.
Bye.
going on here? I'll say it again. I said it, I'll say it again. I said it, I'll say it again. I said it before, I said it before, I said it before, I said it before, I said it, I said it. Don't understand. Don't understand what's going on. I don't understand, I'll say it again. Say it again, say it again. Don't understand, I'll say it again. I don't understand, I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I said it. I don't understand here.
I felt like a boonga butterfly. Felt like a boonga.
It's so easy.
Felt like a boonga. Felt like
You got it.
I felt like a
Somebody got it.
like I felt like a
It's so easy. Somebody got it.
I felt like a butterfly. Felt like a butterfly. I felt like a butterfly. I felt like a butterfly.
I don't understand, I'll say it again.
I felt like a butterfly.
I said it. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand, I'll say it again. I don't understand, I'll say it again. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand, I'll say it again. Again. I don't understand what's going on. Bingo, go.
I felt like a
I don't understand, I'll say it again. I don't understand, I'll say it again. I said it. I don't understand what's going on here.